and welcome back to the CineClub podcast. I'm Elliott.
I'm Joseph.
I'm Samantha.
And I'm Adam. Today we are discussing one of the more debated topics in film, book adaptations, as well as what we actually think makes a good adaptation. My pick this week is the Maze Runner trilogy, more specifically the first Maze Runner. So I first read the books when I believe I was gifted them for something. I read the whole trilogy start to finish in like 3 months or something, and then I got the box set of the trilogy for films. I remember I loved the first one. I thought it was pretty good, and then immediately with the second one it went downhill, and it just kept getting worse and worse as the trilogy went on.
Yeah, I've definitely read the first book because in like secondary school I read that and the first Percy Jackson, and I was obsessed with a pair of them.
Yeah,
and I just never read the others. And I watched the movies, like the first Lightning Thief and then the first one that's just called Maze Runner, and I liked them both. I rewatched them both like last year. And I think Maze Runner is better than the Percy Jackson movie. Like, it's a really good premise.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a really interesting premise. I really like the story and the characters. I just don't like the trilogy overall. Like, I think as films, they're good. Yeah. If you take them away from the book, it's a decent trilogy. It's fine. It's whatever. As adaptations of the book, they're really bad, which is such a shame. The one point I always go to is the opening of the third one, the train heist, where they steal the car from the train. There's no mention of like trains or anything like that in any of the 3 books. They just added in extra action sequences just to keep the audience more engaged. And like I said, for movies, that's fine, but the way it deviates so far from the story after what is a pretty good adaptation, the first one, like it makes changes, it cuts out certain days that are boring and things, but it still keeps sort of the essence of the original book. I think the casting and characters for that are really good as well, but it's such a shame because it's, like you said, it's a really interesting premise. Yeah. It's a trilogy that's got a lot of potential if it's done right. But I don't know. I do think that first one has a lot of good stuff about it. Yeah. Like if we move away from the book for a second, the first film is really fun to go back and watch. Yeah. Even now, I think it still holds up pretty well as a film. I really like Chuck. He's obviously the highlight, one of the highlights of that first film before, the ending.
Yes.
But I don't know, there's something about the trilogy that's just always stuck with me. I've just, even, 10 years later or something since I read them, I still remember the books and the films pretty well.
Yeah.
And so, to be honest, it's something I'd like to either see another adaptation of or even try to do an adaptation of later down the line, because I do think it's a trilogy that, if done really, really well, will be one to remember in terms of adaptations.
Yeah. I've heard that they changed the characters from the book, because I've only read the first book and seen the first... Well, I've seen the first movie recently, and then I got halfway through the second one, and then... Like, I did turn it off because, like, oh, this is awful. Like, I just had to stop watching it because I had something to do. But, like, because one of my friends loves the Maze Runner, like, trilogy of books, and they've said, like, the characters are, like, more or less completely different.
I think some of them are. There's definitely a lot of characters throughout that are. I think certain aspects of characters, it's been a while since I've read them fully, but I think Thomas, from what I remember, is decently accurate, I think.
Yeah.
But some of the others are different. I think Newt is very different.
Yeah.
Know how, he's quite small, skinny in the book. He's the opposite in the film. He's quite sort of big. He's well built. He's tall. He's got longer hair, and his characterization's different. But I don't necessarily hate that they slightly changed some of the characters. I don't remember how bad some of the changes are from the books, but I think that's what I find interesting about adaptations. You're never going to have a one-to-one adaptation.
Oh, no.
That just doesn't work. They're just way too different as mediums.
And at that point, just read the book. If you can do it exactly the same, read the book, because it's just easier.
So I don't mind when they make changes. That's why I like that first one as much as I do. I think the changes it makes, the bits it cuts out, are fine to keep the film moving. It's just when you lose what the story is, what the characters are, then it feels like, what's the point of it being an adaptation to begin with, if you know what I mean? I feel like you're going to get onto the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So I'll let you start on that.
I was going to say that's a perfect segue into my pick of The Hobbit. The book is one of my favourite books of all time. I read it when I was in like primary school, when I was like 7, and I loved it because it's just a cute little adventure that like they even said Tolkien read to his kids.
It's so boring though.
Right.
It's really boring. I just tried reading it and I got bored and was like, nah, I can't be done with this.
It's just...
How far did you get there?
I don't know. Not very far because it was boring.
The start is slow, but it picks up pretty quickly.
Yeah, it does.
And then the further it does, the further into the Hobbit you get, the more it sort of picks up pace. I think, do they go to the elves first? Is it the mine or is it the elves first?
I don't remember. It's been years since I've read it.
It's been so long since I watched it.
It might have been the elves. I'm not sure. But
either way, from once you get to the escape from the elves in the river, from then on, I feel like the book has a pretty good pace to it. I do feel like the story's...
No, the elves is afterwards.
Is it?
Yeah, because that's getting into the movies quickly, because the movies does do that. They have the barrel chase like afterwards. But in the book and even the very old Rankin-Bass short, it's just them casually going down like a lazy river in barrels. But then for some reason in Desolation of Smaug, they make it a massive fight scene between the elves, the dwarves, and the orcs.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It's
like I forgot about that from the book.
And what you were saying about like they add a lot of fight scenes just for filler, that is the last 2 Hobbit movies. Because the Hobbit book is about 300 and something pages. It's less than Fellowship. And Fellowship was 1 movie. And for some reason, they've stretched The Hobbit into 3. Because, like, most of Battle of the Five Armies is filler. Like, and Desolation of Smaug. Like, the Desolation of Smaug, I liked it when I first watched it. And I rewatched it like a year or 2 ago. And oh my god, it's so bad. Because they, for some reason, like, the orcs are like not a main threat in the they're like just a little side boss before Smaug, and for some reason they make them the main antagonists, and Smaug isn't.
It's more of a side.
Is
I remember
Smaug,
that.
like the thing that's like
the dragon.
Oh
the
no,
dragon,
I thought I was getting that confused with Gollum.
Gollum.
I will say that's one good choice the trilogy made. Benedict Cumberbatch as Smaug. He was amazing
in a full mocap suit, grinding on the floor to be a dragon.
He was great in those films.
It's got thingy mabobbity like Martin Freeman in it, so that's
true.
Sherlock that's Watson. Always a good.
Yeah.
The entire cast is pretty good, to be fair. When you actually look at the cast list for that trilogy, they got a really good cast.
Except the dwarves. Because if you compare Gimli to every single one of them dwarves, they're just like mini Aragorns. And I'm like, why? I get like, I don't know, make them hot, I guess. I'm like, but they're supposed to be dwarves. They're supposed to be like little brutes.
It makes sense for Keeley because it's kind of meant to be part of his character that he's the young one. He's not got a beard yet. He needs to prove himself.
Yeah, but
all of the other ones, like Philly, please just let them look like themselves. Yeah. Don't try to make them attractive and give them weird love stories with an elf. Don't do that because it's a children's book.
The love triangle stuff.
I think the film should have been aimed at the same audience as the book, but what they were trying to do is get the audience of Lord of the Rings back in.
Well, that's probably why they made it the trilogy. They were like, Lord of the Rings is so successful as a trilogy.
We can do it again.
There's 3 distinct parts to this book.
That was literally what Warner Brothers said.
Was it? Was that
because Del Toro was supposed to make, I think, 2 Hobbit movies, but then dropped out. And so Warner Brothers panicked. It was like, you know what? Get Pete Jackson back. Get him back. Make him do the same 3 movies again, but they're nothing alike. The Hobbit is nothing like Lord of the Rings. Because people say it's the prequel, but it's just a little fun adventure. Whereas
a children's story. Whereas Lord of the Rings is a lot more adult. But still good for children, but Lord of the Rings gets both groups better. The Hobbit is mainly because children.
For some reason, with the Battle of the Five Armies, they tried to make it like Helm's Deep, where it's like the whole movie is like the war. But in the book, it's like 10 pages because Bilbo sleeps throughout the entire war. And there's a line where it says, like, I do not understand war. Because that's like, because Tolkien obviously despised war. So he used like, that of like Bilbo saying it's stupid and sleeping through it as like his view. But then for the 5 armies, it's like over 3. Well, I'd say about 3 hours long, and it's just a one big fight, and it doesn't really make sense because like the humans are mad at the dwarves, and then the elves have a rivalry with the dwarves, and then the orcs get involved. It's just pointless. Like,
it is a shame.
And there's not even 5 armies. Like 3.
Yeah.
Unless you're trying to tell me the company, where there's like 12 of them, is an army.
Yeah.
Then there's 3 armies. Are you trying to tell me those big worm things are an army? No.
It's just, I genuinely think the first Hobbit movie is pretty decent. Because, like you said, Martin Freeman is Bilbo.
Yeah,
like,
no doubt.
Like, he was perfect as Bilbo. And then obviously, like, Gandalf,
Yeah, same. Yeah.
However, getting Legolas to return was, I just think, like, appealing to nostalgia for, like, the original trilogy.
Oh, definitely.
Because Legolas is not in the book, like, at all.
No.
I think they were just going, we need to put someone conventionally attractive in.
Yeah, because in the prelude of the first Hobbit, they have Frodo in, don't they? Talking to all the Bilbo.
Yes.
I think at the start of the movie.
Yeah.
And
it's Frodo before he goes out to go read under the tree where he will meet Gandalf.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but that makes more sense getting Frodo in, like, but then just randomly throwing Legolas in just for him to have, like, a love triangle with one of the dwarves and the elf. And I'm like, why?
Yeah, and really contradict his character in Lord of the Rings. He's so mean in The Hobbit for no reason.
Yeah.
Of the contrived drama.
Because his whole, like, I like Legolas, but his whole role in Lord of the Rings is fight things. And
he's the MVP.
Yeah, he's like an anime character. He just defies the laws of physics.
Is he the elf dude?
Yes.
Yeah, the blonde elf, Orlando Bloom.
Well done. I'm proud of you.
I don't know. You just watch the films or try to read the books, and you're like, things are happening. I've not a clue. There's too many names, too many things. It's a bit boring. They're all fighting. I don't care.
I could go on for ages why I just don't like the Hobbit movies.
I could have done the same.
Because it's nothing like the book except the first one. And the 2 scenes, like the best moments in the trilogy, is the Smaug talking to Bilbo and Bilbo talking to Gollum. Because those 2 scenes are like word for word from the book.
Yeah.
So, like, no wonder they're like amazing scenes. So, I don't know. Just
Did Jackson write them as well, or was it someone else who wrote them?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I know he was hastily rushed into it. He didn't have near enough as like the amount of effects, like practical effects, as he did for the Lord of the Rings, because that was like built up over years. Whereas like Warner Brothers just kind of handed him like this and do this. We need another Lord of the Rings. So yeah,
Really controversial take on the adaptation of The Hobbit. I think it should have been adapted as a series. But like a children's series of short episodes.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that.
Like each episode's 20 minutes long.
Yeah,
we get each part of it, just little 20-minute episodes framed for kids.
Yeah, I could see that working a lot better actually.
Yeah, and my last point I'm going to make on The Hobbit is like the Gandalf subplot is just not in the book at all.
Yeah, but what the hell is he doing?
I'm trying to think, what is his subplot?
So
is it
in the book? Like, he just says to Bilbo, I've got to go do something, have fun on your quest.
Yeah. What is it in the films? I'm trying to think now.
For some reason, it's like an Avengers with him, Saruman, but they fight Sauron.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but Sauron...
yes, they do.
They fight
There's so many characters with similar names. There's no need for
They
this.
fight like D-powers. There was like Avengers Assemble, Gandalf, Saruman, Radagast, Galadriel, and Elrond.
Yes.
Also, where's Galadriel's husband?
Yeah.
That he was a Balrog hunter. Why is he not here?
That scene is so stupid because Elrond shows up, drops a one-liner, and then they start scrapping with Sauron, and I'm like, what? This is nothing like The Hobbit.
I do enjoy like the brief appearance of like Witch, Galadriel. Like, go back to the shadow from whence you came. You are nameless.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. It just feels like Lord of the Rings fan fiction by that point because none of it is like the book at all.
That's a discredit to fan fiction. There is some incredible Lord of the Rings fan fiction. I'll have you know.
But, yeah, I could go on for ages about how much I don't like the Hobbit movies.
I do think it's interesting as well, because one thing that always sticks out to me, especially with that Gandalf subplot, is the effects. like you kind of mentioned. I feel like I always remember how rushed some of those effects look.
Yeah, it's because of how rushed the production was.
Exactly, yeah.
It's because they produce as if the very whips of their masters were behind them.
It is a shame. Because The Hobbit was a good book. I enjoyed reading it.
It's one of my favourites.
Yeah.
Like, that and Dune are in, like, my top 3.
I still need to actually read Dune, yeah. We might come back to that later. Yeah. We might mention that later.
But go on, Joseph. It's your turn to have fun.
I'm here to rage bait Samantha with Wuthering Heights. Came out this year. It's very recent. I'm getting it hot off the presses here. Wuthering Heights. 50 Shades of Bronte. I don't like it.
It's really good, man. It's a really good film, and you just need to separate it. Because yes, it's an adaptation, but it doesn't have to be exactly like it, and it's its own story as well. And it's still an adaptation, and that's not a bad thing.
I think comparing it to the book is a really bad idea because, like, I watched it, thought it was okay, and then I started reading the book, and I'm like, like, it's so bad, like, compared to the book.
It's still enjoyable, though. It's good.
The nature of creating an adaptation, especially if you're keeping the name and not making it more loose by not having the name, by keeping the name, you are inviting comparison to the book. It's going to happen. People are going to compare them. And what is the point in adapting something where you clearly do not enjoy or respect the meaning of the original story?
I think it does. It is the spirit of the original story's there, but it's still its own thing because it's not an it's not the exact book. Because if it was the exact story of the book, then you might as well read the book. It's its own thing, and it's her own interpretation of it, and it's enjoyable. You wouldn't do that for, like, there's so many adaptations of Dracula that say, "Ooh, it's Dracula by Bram Stoker," and then you watch the thing or, like, read, like, you just consume the bit of media that's like, "Oh, look, this is Bram Stoker's Dracula." And it's like nothing like the books, but people don't complain as much. And there is a lot of Wuthering Heights adaptations. Mm-hmm. There's not been many recently, but there is a lot.
I just think it's
quite. Not as much criticism.
I think it's just quite insulting to take this, like, gothic tale about obsession, cruelty, and abuse, and to turn it into a bodice ripper.
It's still there still is the abuse, there is the toxicity of it, and it's still in the film.
None of the characters are likable except the husband. Like,
poor Edgar.
I didn't like him. He sort of felt a bit pushovery.
Why do you just endorse Heathcliff?
Oh no, I don't. I just like how toxic and bad it is, but not in a look, isn't this wonderful way. Just I enjoyed the like, these are all awful people, but Edgar was a bit of a pushover.
His accent is so bad, by the way.
It's terrible.
Yeah. Still enjoyable film.
I just want to point out that you were able to enjoy it as you acknowledge the toxicity because you have media literacy. A lot of people don't, and would just, I think it would be very easy to watch it and see it as romanticizing the abuse and the horrors. I get adaptations can't include the whole book. If you included the whole book, it'd be about 10 hours long. But they cut out about half the story. There's a lot more that happens after Kathy's death. I will acknowledge there's a problem in a lot of Wuthering Heights adaptations, but I had a bit of hope that they would include it. They didn't.
No, because I found, like, Kathy dies, like, halfway through the book.
Yes,
well, spoilers.
There's the whole... spoilers for a 200-year-old book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a whole second generation of Kathy's child and Heathcliff's child. There's a whole second generation. They've just cut it out. I will give the film this. The visuals are very interesting, very good. It's very good set design.
And I think the
costume design's debatable. Charlie XCX, excellent job as always. No notes.
I didn't think I would like the more Charlie XCX modern-y sort of thing, but I was really surprised that I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Because when I heard Charlie XX, I'm like, Jesus Christ. But then I watched the film like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's
it worked
good.
Because of how out there the film itself was. It just helped play into how chaotic it was.
But can I quickly just touch on the skin rub?
I thought that was so
the skin
so
wall. It's
fun.
Gross and weird. What the giant strawberry? What are we doing?
It's because it's so abstract.
Why are we sticking our fingers in eggs? What's going on?
It was fun. It's silly. It's like meant to be out there.
Also, Jacob Elordi, please put your tongue away. Like, please.
Stop.
Just have a bit of adventure in your lives.
And he's trying to do a Yorkshire accent, but he really can't, and the Aussie comes out sometimes.
The best way I described it, it's like a person who watched Game of Thrones for the first time and tried impersonating Jon Snow. And it's so funny, like, going with that mindset.
Yeah, and of course, we have to touch on the more serious issue of the adaptation of the whitewashing of Heathcliff.
Yeah, because isn't that, like, the main reason why they're not allowed to be together?
Yeah, one of the biggest reasons they cannot be together is he's not white. It's never clear exactly what race he is, but we know he isn't. He definitely is not white.
Yeah.
Other characters, like, racially abuse him in the book. It's a central... and his experience of that discrimination shapes his character.
Yeah, and I feel like that makes a lot more sense than, oh, he's poor. Like, and the maid is like, I want to be rich, screw this guy.
And Kathy, because of her father's gambling, she's already going to be poor anyway. Yeah.
So, like, I get the whole why Kathy marries the... Edgar, yeah. But, like, I don't know. It just feels like Jacob Elordi doesn't really do much for, like, the first half.
Yeah.
And it's just really weird. Like, why would they... Except for the fact, let's get Jacob Elordi.
And Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
I couldn't see them as the characters. I could only see Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie. And I got no sense of chemistry between them.
I thought I'd disagree. I think it's because I'm so bad at recognising actors being like, oh, that's such and such, that's such and such. Unless I'm like hyperfixating on like a specific franchise. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah. But I'm not good at recognised actors, so I was like, yeah, this is a Kathy, this is a Heathcliff, and it worked.
Harley Quinn flirted with Frankenstein's monster. What's going on?
Yeah, and I feel like it's a case of iPhone face. Like, those are faces that have seen an iPhone. Margot Robbie especially, that is a woman that has seen an iPhone.
I don't know. I wouldn't give him... She's not iPhone face, but she's like not fully period. She's sort of in the middle. But I think that's good for the film because it is so, this is a period setting, but also giant strawberries. So it doesn't have to be perfect.
Also, so in my screening, I burst out laughing when I saw her Transformers dress, and I got looks from the people around me because like the massive like tinfoil Optimus Prime dress.
It's cool and pretty.
I burst out laughing and I got weird, dirty looks from the people next to me.
As they should have given you looks because it's pretty. You should respect the film and not burst out laughing in a serious pretty film. It's pretty.
I wanted to laugh for most of it. Every time Charlie XCX played, I love Charlie, but I wanted to laugh because it was so weird.
I would have glared at you so badly if you did laugh.
Yeah, well, I looked over you at the end and you were crying.
Oh, I forgot I was in floods of tears at the end, man.
Also, Samantha, your points make absolutely no sense sometimes because you're like, oh, it's really good because it's pretty. But you hate Blade Runner, one of the best.
Blade Runner's not pretty. Let me be
Which
inconsistent.
Is also based on a book, and I haven't read the book.
You are allowed to enjoy the film as it's like Love Island. It's trash entertainment.
Oh, no.
It's your junk food entertainment. We all have it. We all have something we know is bad, but we enjoy it anyway.
Do not compare Wuthering Heights to Love Island.
It's on a different note.
Yeah, it's Love Island 1700s edition.
Just like accepting she's wrong.
That's because I'm not wrong. I'm never wrong. I'm always correct.
Yeah, but I'm also not wrong that it is a weird choice to adapt this kind of novel into this kind of film. These kind of films, they have a place, they're valid, they should exist. This kind of content by women and for women should be made more. It should be more mainstream. It should be more accepted. But just change the title. It was that simple. Like, Clueless is an adaptation of Emma. It doesn't get backlash because it's not called Emma. And it's extremely loose. If you're going to play fast and loose with the book, just change the title and say it's loosely inspired by...
But then people still whinge. People, even if you did change the title and change the names of the characters, people would be like, oh no, it's not original, it's not an original story. People just like things to complain about.
Yeah.
I think that's the interesting point when it comes to adaptations. I sort of briefly mentioned it, but what actually does make a good book adaptation for you guys? Is it a one-to-one or is there something else it needs?
It has to carry the themes and the meaning of the story. It needs to hold the spirit of it. You need to come away it needs to impart the same messages and feelings as the original, at least.
And I feel like you need to have some connection where it's like it doesn't feel like what Joseph was saying, where it's like feels like a separate thing. It doesn't feel like it's adapting, like, for example, Wuthering Heights. It just feels like something completely different. And I feel like you need to have some, even if it's very loose, like some connection to what you like of the original source material. Because at that point, if you're not like using any of it, like, I think it's just, why not just make something original by that point?
Because sometimes it's just nice taking. I normally agree with that, but sometimes it is nice to just be like, oh yes, this was a bit of inspiration, but then it is its own thing where it varies from piece of media to piece of media. Sometimes a very, very true adaptation's going to be better than where it's a bit loose, but it just varies.
Okay, I guess that's the thing about it, is you can do the adaptation however you want. It's how you message it, I guess, how you label it. Like, I'm not against it still having the same title. Like, even though I've not seen Wuthering Heights, I'm not against it keeping the title. I think from what I've heard, I don't necessarily mind that, because I think that potentially pulls in that audience, even if it is a different story. If you can pull in a new audience to what your story is, your film, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think if you're doing something like that, though, you've just got to make sure you clearly label that it is loosely inspired. Yeah. And I think that's the issue sometimes with things, is it's the same with, like, based on a true story stuff.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to do something like that, at least be honest enough to admit how inspired it is.
Yeah, just say, like, if it's like not, if it's very loosely based on it, just say inspired
just say
by
that. Just say
blank
inspired.
novel.
Yeah.
It did. Wuthering Heights did. It never claimed to be a true adaptation. It just always claimed to be Wuthering Heights inspired by, it always did.
But when you slap the name on there, though,
and when you slap the characters on the book cover now,
oh yeah,
they've forever associated these two things together and linked them.
I was going to talk about Red, White, and Royal Blue, because it's really similar to the book, but it just does a better job, and the book really does Americanize the British royal family, and it's a bit cringe, and the film is still quite American-y, but not to the extreme. And it's just a fun, silly rom-com, and it's nice. And I think, Adam, you've watched some of it.
I've watched most of it. I've got about half an hour left of it, but what I've seen so far, I've enjoyed it a lot more than I sort of thought I would. It's not typically the type of film I like, but it feels fresh in a way, this one. Like,
it's a nice proper modern rom-com.
Is the book in modern as well? I see.
Yeah, the books only came out recently enough as well.
Yeah. Because I like the use of, like, the social media and things like that in it. Like, at the start, there's a montage that sort of uses a lot of, like, social media clips and things.
And it doesn't feel cringy, because a lot of the times when TV shows or films try to make it modern and do modern things, it just comes off as, it just misses the mark and it's cringe. But
exactly. With this story, though, I mean, I haven't read the book, but with this particular film, it really works, I think, and in general it plays into it. Like, that entire opening section is really funny. Like, when the cake falls on them, it's so
just
perfect.
Does a good job at, like, the comedic scenes. They just land really well, because it goes splat into a cake.
I've never even heard of this until you mentioned it.
I haven't either.
What?
You need to watch it. It's just a silly little rom-com.
Yeah, it is actually worth a watch of what I've seen. And the fact that you're sort of saying it is a good adaptation is really good to hear as well.
I might watch it eventually, but, like, rom-coms aren't, like, my thing that I'll go for.
They're not my thing either.
You say that, but I'm sure you've watched quite a lot of rom-coms.
Oh, yes.
Because you were in, like, the quiz ages ago, you carried the team with rom-coms.
Yeah, I got, like, 8 out of the 10. I was...
Yeah. They're not really my thing either, but this one feels different. I was talking to Sam about this earlier as well. There's a scene sort of towards it. It's similar to your classic breakup scene, you know, they break up before they get back together, but they do it in an interesting way where they don't want to break up necessarily. The prince sort of leaves the president's son purely because of his situation, because
the pressure from the brother and the pressure from, like, the king being like, nope, you can't be having a relationship. You don't want a relationship with a guy, and you don't want it with, like, an American. That's not okay. Stop it.
Yeah. But so then Alex, the American, goes over to England. He goes and meets him, and they have a really interesting talk where you can tell they both still want it, and then they sort of visit a museum,
and that's
have a
so
dance.
sweet.
Yeah.
It's just
It is,
adorable.
yeah.
They go to the museum when it's closed, and it's just
And then at the point where I'm at, Alex is just leaving to go back to America, but what they've sort of said was, even though politically this situation might not work, we are gonna keep trying to find a solution, like rather than your typical, like I said, your typical breakup before get back together. They deal with it in a more interesting way that keeps the film feeling fresh.
Yeah,
it just has a nice, sweet ending because they have a conversation with the king because the king's like, no, this isn't okay. Stop it. This is not okay. I'm not happy about this. This isn't okay. And then they go out on the balcony in public, and then there's like so many fans and stuff, and then they turn on the news and they're like, yay, because everyone's like, yay, gay rights, and people are like really, really happy, and then the king's like, what is going on? And it's just really nice, happy ending.
I'll get to it probably tomorrow or something. Yeah.
I'm sure they're doing a sequel as well. I'm
that'd be
pretty sure they are.
I'd be interested to see that.
Are there any other adaptations anyone would like to discuss?
Me.
Yeah.
I've been thinking, like, because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, like, why not? The Killing Joke. That is technically it's a comic book, a very famous. It's a Batman comic, and it's like one of the biggest ones. I'd say that next to like The Dark Knight Returns, and the movie was an animated one. It was Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill, and Mark Hamill even said, like, if I was to do any Batman animated movie, it would be The Killing Joke. And they did it. And so for some reason, like, the first half is nothing like The Killing Joke.
Right, yeah.
What they do with Barbara Gordon, like Batgirl, is awful. They, for some reason, make Batgirl and Batman have a romance, even though they feel like they feel more like, I don't know,
cousins or something.
Yes, they don't. They feel related, like, because
they feel like a family. The Bat family.
Yeah, the Bat family.
Yeah, exactly. But then the first half is just really weird because it's like sexualizes Barbara Gordon so much, and it just is so uncomfortable to watch. And the whole, like, her doing a will they won't they with Batman, and then all of a sudden in the middle half it just switches to the book, and it's like line for line, like, well, and I'm like, this is a completely different, because all the first half stuff they just scrap. Like, so I don't know what went wrong, because it sounds like Warner Brothers doing a typical meddling.
Yep.
But
sounds like something happened in that production.
yes, because, like, I just don't know what happened, because The Killing Joke is one of the best comics ever made.
I have heard that,
it's one of the best Batman comics. Like, everyone, it's one of the most famous ones, and they just butchered it so much. And like, the second half is good because it's just The Killing Joke, like line for line, like scene for scene. But the first half is just awful. And like, when people ask me about it, I just say, just read the comic. Because it's really easily accessed, and it's just like, just don't bother watching the movie. But yeah.
I guess another one that's worth mentioning that we already sort of talked about, the unadaptable film book, Dune.
Yes.
Now, I haven't fully read the book. I've read the first little bit of it, and I've only seen Villeneuve's adaptation. But from what I've sort of heard and from actually watching the films, I think it's really good.
Yes.
Like, they're phenomenal films. Putting that aside, I think for the story of Dune, I sort of roughly know what the story is. As an adaptation, it seems like it does it really well.
Yeah. Because I know some people, a lot of people I talked to didn't like the first Dune movie.
Yeah.
Because I was like, all right, I'll have a look. And I watched it because I'd read the book beforehand. And I'm like, oh, no wonder it's the first half of the book.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the first half is just politics and setting up the story. Like saying about the spice and all of that.
Yeah.
And like the sandworms. And I'm like, well, yeah, I get why people don't like it. But like, it's so faithful to the book, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah, it's really good. And like, it's nothing like have you seen the David Lynch one?
I haven't, but I've seen clips of it.
Can be a bit boring, but can be a bit insane. That's why I like it.
Yeah.
But I've still not seen Dune Part 2, and I feel like that's a crime on my half.
Oh, Part 2 is better than Part 1. It's far better. Yeah. I know the one major thing they cut out of the second one, it's in there, but it's not in the way it is in the book, is Paul's sister.
Oh.
So Jessica's pregnant in the second one, like heavily pregnant throughout, and but we don't actually see the birth of his sister in the second one at all.
Oh, right.
But at the same time, I think for the way it was sort of adapted, I don't think the little girl killing the Baron would have worked.
No.
Because it is quite serious the way it's done. It really deals with the themes really heavily.
Yeah.
And so I think bringing in, I can't actually remember what she's called in the book, the sister, but I feel like bringing her in just wouldn't have worked with this particular adaptation. But I think when we get to Dune Part 3 this year, I do think the sister will play a big part in this.
I'm just curious on what it will be adapting, because there's tons of Dune books.
It's the second book. It's the one, Messiah.
Messiah, Dune Messiah.
It's Dune Messiah, that's what they're adapting.
Because I know that there was TV shows, because I know there was one ages ago, which was, I think that was The Children of Dune.
Yeah, it might have been.
A quite old one, and then there was it Dune Prophecy? It was like a new HBO one?
Yes, the HBO prequel. Yeah. That one's quite interesting.
I've not seen that one. It looks all right.
I've not seen any of them.
I'm really not involved with Dune at all. I know nothing except Timothy.
My mum wanted to watch the first one, and I was like, doesn't look like my cup of tea, so then she just ended up not wanting to go see it, so we never went to see it.
I think you would hate the first one.
Shock horror, I hate something.
The Muppets.
And actually, that's something as well. I think Timothy really sort of becomes Paul in this.
Yeah.
Like, to me, watching both films, I've seen him in other stuff. I don't mind him in films, but he's not one of my favourite actors. I think he does such a good job as Paul in both of these, especially as you get towards the end of Part 2.
Yeah.
As soon as he becomes Lisan al-Gaib, I fully believe it. It's such a great transformation.
I'm glad they've done that with the book, because his transformation into leader is so good in the book.
Watch it soon, and you'll see that actual transformation in the film is done phenomenally.
Yeah.
And Hans Zimmer's score just adds so much to it as well.
Because Dune is probably my out of all the chosen one stories, Dune is probably my favorite. Book wise, I mean,
definitely.
It's just because Paul's character arc is so good. It's him slowly, he has no idea what's going on. And then, he slowly becomes the leader, and it's just so satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
And I really need to watch Dune Part 2.
You do, yeah. And I guess if we're going to mention one final...
Go on.
Yeah, you go, yeah.
Because How to Train Your Dragon, because that was a book series.
Yeah.
Oh, and I remember reading the book series,
I didn't read much of them, but in school we did.
I actually read all of them, I think. I did read the whole series.
The films are nothing like them, but the films are so much better.
They're still so good. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because the films are, like you said, so much better, because Toothless is such a different character in the books. Toothless talks in the books.
What? I forgot. What?
Yeah.
What?
So, it's
been
in the
that
books,
long since I've read it,
in the
Christ.
books, Toothless is not only talks, but he's a terrible terror. You know, the tiny ones.
Oh, basically, I forgot.
Yeah, Toothless is one of the smallest dragons, and he talks throughout the entire book series. I can't remember if it's that Toothless talks or if Hiccup can speak the language of the dragons. It's something like that.
I don't remember. I just remember reading it in a maths class.
I definitely read the first one in primary school, and from what I remember, I thought it was more getting a guide, on Hiccup writing the book, saying this is what you do.
It is Hiccup writing them, but I believe it's also his personal story.
All right.
It's his memoirs.
It's made out really weird.
It's more like a journal.
It's a weird book series, and yet the films take the general vibe and concept
and just make it into something so much better.
And also, I guess while we're talking about How to Train Your Dragon, what do you think of the live action?
I don't have the heart to watch it.
Awful.
I've refused to watch it on principle.
I've heard so much good things about it, but I've also heard so much bad things. I just don't want to, because I love the series. I love the films, and I watched all the TV series there was, because I was obsessed with them.
So, in theory, it's a decently made movie. I can understand people who enjoy it, but I hate shot-for-shot remakes.
Yes.
I will say that part of it I hate, as I think they did pretty good with casting. The effects and the actual dragons look phenomenal.
Yeah.
I was just I think it's decent. I think it's an okay film.
Which wasn't necessary.
It's just a shame that it's shot for shot. Like, I'm hopeful for the second one that they don't do shot for shot.
Doing it. Oh, why?
They will.
They will do the second one
because it made a lot of money.
Unnecessary.
They're following the Disney formula.
They are.
If it ain't broke, why change?
Yeah, I really do hope it's not shot for shot. But I think the thing with the live actions is as well, the director, because it's the same director for both the animated and the live action, I believe, he sort of said he's doing with the live actions what he didn't get to do with the animated, which I don't get because the first one is literally shot for shot.
It's just the same movie.
Like,
again.
if you're gonna, fine, if you want to do something else, build it out a bit more, build it out more, build out the characters as well.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that in a different adaptation of your sort of previous ones. But why do it shot for shot again?
Yeah.
That's why I'm curious to see if the second one is. If the second one is shot for shot, I'll be so annoyed because I actually think there's a lot of potential. The second one is my favourite. The three How to Train Your Dragon.
The second one's with the mother,
best.
isn't it?
Yeah, the mother and the two bewilderbeasts.
Yes.
Like, I think that's the one part of that film I'll like no matter what. The actual fight with the bewilderbeasts.
Yeah, like the kaiju battle.
Yeah, the actual kaiju battle between those will be so good.
I think it is a great trilogy.
Yeah, it's such a good trilogy.
And what you said about trying to improve on the characters, I'm like, but the first one, like the original, did it so well already.
It does, yeah, exactly.
And all the TV series that exist as well.
Yeah,
the Netflix show is really good.
Yeah, Rest of the Edge was so good. Anyway, we're getting off topic there with that. The final adaptation I'll briefly talk about is Hunger Games.
Okay.
Really? Does no one particularly like the Hunger Games?
I really like the first Hunger Games book.
Yeah.
I've not read the others.
Catching Fire is phenomenal.
Yeah. Because I like the movies. I've only seen the first two, and I quite like the first one. And a lot of people think the second one's better. I think it was just all right. The second one.
Oh, interesting. I do prefer the second one, both book and film. I think it's the strongest of the original trilogy.
Yeah.
I think the prequels as well are also really interesting book-wise. Like, I think the first two do a great job adapting the books.
Yeah.
Mockingjay gets a bit lost here and there. Mockingjay's not great. And then you get to Ballad, which it's a weird book to begin with.
Yeah.
But it's adapted really interestingly where it feels similar, but there's also changes in there. I don't know. Ballad feels weird to me where I don't really know where I want to place it.
Which one's that one?
It's the prequel with President Snow.
Oh, I've not seen the prequels.
Yeah, the prequel books are a good read. I think her writing gets better with each one.
I need to read the books.
I've only ever read the first one because I read it in school, then watched the film, then I went home and watched loads of the films, and then I sort of got bored.
Yeah. Like, I'm really nervous for Sunrise because I think their biggest mistake with Ballad was making it a 12. That was their biggest mistake they could have made.
They're kids films, though.
They are.
Not really.
Well, they're like they're teenager.
They're young adult. Like,
yeah.
I think
they
should have been 15s.
I don't.
No, what you'll understand. Ballad. No, they're not.
No.
But Ballad and Sunrise are brutal books.
Yeah, they're still children-y, but they're like not kiddies, but still
the teen books. But I think with how they are as books, they're more suited to a 15 than they are a 12. Like, they don't need it, but the level of violence works better as a 15. Like, in Ballad, there's a full-on decapitation in it that they kind of just cut. And it's in there, but you really don't see it in the film. It's through a TV screen, and in Ballad... no, sorry, not Ballad. In Sunrise, someone gets eaten alive by a swarm of killer bees, like to the point where just their skeleton remains. They are when you really get into the games, they are brutal in the books.
That sounds like an Indiana Jones death. But like...
Yeah, the books are awful. They're difficult reads, but that's what makes them so interesting.
Yeah.
And I don't think the films have been able to capture them. None of them. because they limited themselves to the 12. Like, they shouldn't have been R-rated. They shouldn't have been 18s, but they would have worked so much better as a 15.
But a lot of violent movies, like around, I'd say, like late 2000s to like early 2010s, were like being really like pushing the extent of what they could get away with. Like The Dark Knight did that, and the first Hunger Games with like you see children kill each other.
Yeah, the first one's pretty good, but after that they kind of just they dull it down a bit as we go forward in the series.
Like the first one, like I think I rewatched it. Yeah, it was last year, and like it is brutal. The
first one is.
Yeah, because like I said, spoilers for a 14-year-old movie or however old it is. Like Rue just dies.
Oh yeah,
and like I remember because I hadn't read the book, but I knew that happened, and it just happens, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that happened.
Yeah,
we watched it in class, and we're all like, ah.
No, it's again. I think a teen is probably like the best rating for it. Like, give it like don't show it to younger kids, but I'd say like 13 upwards. I'd say like,
definitely.
Yeah,
but like because the movies as well. And I also want to make one last point on the Hunger Games, is that a lot of movies with like a franchise of books did the Harry Potter thing, where it's like, let's split the final book into 2 parts for some reason.
They did, yeah.
Because they're like, let's cash in on Harry Potter's success. So like Hunger Games did it, Twilight did it, and it's just so funny.
All of the YA books, and children's books of YA books, just did that.
Yeah.
But I've noticed like a lot of the part ones I considered bad because like I know a lot of people hate the first Mockingjay and like people don't like the first Twilight, like the part 1 of whatever it's called. I don't keep up with Twilight.
I think it's Breaking Dawn.
I really need to watch Twilight.
I need to rewatch.
I need to watch it for the first time.
Twilight is my Wuthering Heights. It's my trash entertainment.
But from what I remember as well, Mockingjay is quite a long book. Like, it spans quite a large time frame, Mockingjay.
Yeah.
So I actually think if they had done it right, if they'd really stretched out the story, I actually think Mockingjay could have worked as 2 parts. But the way they do it doesn't. Like, there's enough stuff in there where I could have seen them stretching it to it, especially if they added like extra bits in here and there.
Yeah.
They could have definitely made that work as a 2, but the way they do it just doesn't.
Yeah. Because, like, I watched the first 2 and, like, with a friend, and then they said, like, oh, like, skip Mockingjay part 1, like, watch the second one, and then just watch the new one, because, like, I'm like, but I kind of need to watch the first
you kind of can't skip Mockingjay part 1 is the thing.
No, like, a lot of, like, my dad hates that one, because my dad really likes the first one, and he thinks the second one's okay, then he hates the rest. I remember he went on like a full like half hour rant of how much he hated the first Mockingjay, and I'm like, it's the Hunger Games, like it's a good franchise, but I'm thinking like it kind of fell off that much, like surely.
As long as Effie looks pretty in them, it doesn't matter. Her costumes are just stunning.
Last adaptation I want to just to prove I'm not a complete hater. Pride and Prejudice 2005 version.
I haven't seen it.
Not seen it.
Haven't seen it.
Have you seen any Pride and Prejudice?
No. Nope.
I will just talk about it in brief. I like it. I think it's a very good adaptation of that love story.
Is that the one with the one from Pirates of the Caribbean in it? Or am I getting confused with Padme?
I think so. Yes, I've not seen. Keira Knightley is Lizzie.
Yeah,
and she plays Lizzie very well.
But yeah, I've been meaning to watch it and read the book, but like just never got around to it. So
I will lend you my copy if I have to, just to make you watch it.
I think that's all the reading we've got time for today. Make sure to check out our Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook pages for more CineClub podcast content and updates.
As always, this episode was recorded and produced by us, the Sunderland University students, as well as being engineered and edited by Emily Main. A special thanks goes out to Steve Cannon, Barbara Sadler, and Richard Berry. A reminder that our 4 hosts this week have consisted of me, Adam,
me, Samantha,
me, Joseph,
and me, Elliott. This has been a CineClub production for Spark. Thanks for listening.